Alright, hello everyone. So this here is Shatterhand for NES. This is the American version of the game that we'll be playing. There's some differences between this one and the Japanese version, but I'll talk about those during the run. So I will go ahead and give the countdown right away. Just a few moments here. So 3, 2, 1, and go. So right here at the start, I'm going to try a trick to get this guy to drop a coin. Alright, and we got it. It's a frame-perfect trick. We need to hit him the same frame he damages you. And we need to get 100 coins to be able to pay for a power-up in just a few moments right here. The red vest. So normally your punches deals 1 damage, but with the red vest your punches deal 2 damage. You can also do something called a power punch, which deals double damage. So with the red vest, that one also deals double damage, so it's quadruple damage from normally. The problem with the red vest though is it only lasts until you've taken damage 3 times. So I really need to manage my health throughout the run. Yep. So I take 2 pieces of damage here intentionally, and then I'll keep the vest until the boss here. I heard we needed some time for a donation. It's a good time right here.
Tomaine donated $15. Give the waifus a fair chance, please.
Alright, thank you.
JRiff donated $50. Hope you all have fun at ESA, and good luck with your run, Gikkman.
Thank you very much, Jer. So that was the first boss, Ballsy here. We tried to manipulate his pattern so he doesn't jump up on the wall, but I wasn't lucky with the pattern. I went well anyway. So the time in between levels are actually pretty lenient. You get a lot of time to react in between the stages. The red vest charges also carry on in between stages. Though I won't need it here, it is actually pretty important for the route that we take throughout the game. So right here, I'm going to start collecting coins. I need to gather 800 coins by the end of this screen to be able to pay for all the power-ups throughout the rest of this stage. So conveniently, there's a money bag here that you can accumulate coins by punching. You have a few moments to punch it as much as possible. Kill that guy off the screen so he doesn't spawn a coin. It also reduces lag a bit on the stage here. If you haven't noticed by now, the game is very prone to lagging. So we do a lot of different strategies to manipulate the lag. I'll talk a bit about the letter I just picked up in a few moments, but I just want to say this screen right here, the climbing in this game is very finicky to work with. There's a lot of delay, there's a lot of lag. You have a lot of frames where you're locked down from moving while you're climbing the fence. But that actually went really well. I'm really happy we got that pattern. Because the guys climbing on the fence are also pretty random. So you need to react to whatever pattern you get. Pretty classical, like, switch gravity part of the game here that we're running through. But we're just damage boosting through everything. Because these enemies have 8 health. So killing them just takes far too much time. Also, Agent Shatterhand is equipped with a pretty potent weapon, his fists. They can punch pretty much anything that moves, whether it be bullets, whether it be fire, whether it be missiles. Most of the things can be punched. This part here where the background is red, we're actually in control of the gravity ourselves, so we can switch this as we see fit. This mechanic is going to return a bit later on. So the second boss here, Gravitus, is pretty known to be a showstopper in most runs. Most speedrun attempts end at this boss here, because he is incredibly random in his movement. And if he behaves, we're going to be able to stay on the ground here. You actually behaved a lot. Yeah, go ahead.
Rainwave.cc donated $70. Hey Gikkman. From all your friends at Rainwave, we wish you the best of luck.
Oh. Thank you so much, friends. So as you noticed at the end of the stage, I attempt to get my health as low as possible, because it takes time to count down your health. Each health pip takes about half a second. We try to finish the stages with as little health as possible. This stage is also a pretty tricky one, because I tried to do a back boost there, but this stage is tricky because it has the second screen has a lot of small aliens on it, and their movement pattern is very hard to manipulate. I'll do my best to manipulate it and at the same time try to reduce lag as much as possible, but it's much harder than it hopefully will look. This stage is actually not present in the Japanese version of the game, and is instead a carnival stage, but for some reason they took it out in this version. The Japanese version of the game is based off of an action movie called Soul Brain, so maybe this just didn't fit. But you can see the game lags a lot here, which makes movement very hard. But I try to make sure that as few aliens as possible is present on the screen at the same time, and also get rid of as many coins as possible at the while I'm going through here. Health is also a pretty scarce resource, but this is actually looking good. We're doing a skip here, or like a strategy, abusing our delayed invincibility frames. Due to the lag, the invisibility frames last a little bit longer, which allows us to get through that last part on pretty low amount of health. And here, third boss, Cyborg Ape. We want to get him into a pattern where he throws those balls around, and then dashes back and forth. But if you're unlucky, he is actually going to dash much faster. But he didn't do the ball throwing mechanic every time. So he was nice this time. So about the letters are combined to make small support bots that follow you around. There's 8 different combinations, and each of them give a unique support bot that you can use. But in the run, we actually only use 3 combinations, because the other ones are pretty bad. The start here, we're trying to kill. Oh well, we're trying to kill all 3 of these shield guys being low here, because that reduces lag in this part. But since I got hit once, it's not really worth going for it anymore. And here instead we time our jumps so the helicopter guys coming from behind stop to try to shoot at you. Because if you don't time your jumps there, they're gonna chase you throughout this entire section, and you basically have to stop and fight them. But if you get them to stop and fire at you early on, you can get them to despawn by falling outside the screen. I did that part a bit safe, just damage boosting through the fire and not through the enemies. No. Because this here is the game's only auto-scroller. It's very long, very drawn out. And if we die here, well, we have to go back to the beginning of the auto-scroller. And during this part, bombs are going to fall from above, and where they spawn and fall at you is random. And in this section, we need to collect the same sequence of letters again, that we used to form the bot. I used the sequence beta alpha beta to get this bot, so I need to collect that sequence again. If you collect the same sequence twice, you get a special suit that makes you invulnerable for 15 seconds. And I'm going to use that invulnerability to take down the boss. Because the boss is very hard without the suit. I also throw away my support bot here for a while so he doesn't take damage. He'll be back soon. Oh, there he is again. It's just so he doesn't take damage from the fire. Because the bot actually has a health bar of his own. And if the bot dies, I can't form the super suit. But it should be fine from here. I try to manipulate these as well, so they keep their pattern. So they just stay below me and go back and forth. So I can shoot those small rings at them. And I delay picking up this last part here due to this section here where the floor goes up in a bit. So that I don't lose more time with the suit than I absolutely have to. So this boss is Infernon. And he is... casually, he's a big gatekeeper. Because his attacks are very fast. They cover a lot of ground. And he's just a pain to get through. But with the super suit, he's pretty fast. Those fireballs from the super suit also deals 4 damage. So it basically just melts his health bar. I think he has 80 health or something like that, so that's 80 normal punches. So here we're going into the refinery. You know, this is the easiest stage of the game. And it's mostly just... it's a pretty straight run throughout. I'm going to pick up the letters Alpha and Beta here. So I have them ready for the next stage. Take a short break, otherwise we jump into that bullet. What can make this stage a bit tricky is... I hope there's a money bag here. Yeah. Sometimes that money bag is... that should have been an alpha. Wait, what do I do now? Okay, I'll salvage this somehow. That money bag isn't always a money bag. Sometimes it's instead a grenade. And then you need to, like, come up with some alternative strategy for what to do. But this time... it actually behaved. We just damage boosting through this entire section. Because fighting this big boss has 5 health. So trying to fight them down just takes far too long. And there's a conveniently placed health bar there, as you saw. I'll go with Beta, Beta, Beta for the next stage instead. This boss, Pogoborgs, is not present in the Japanese version. Instead, it's a pair of circus girls. This is the only boss that has 2 phases. So this is his second phase. There's the second phase dead. It is a pretty simple boss to manipulate. You just need to make sure that you land your normal punches and power punches quickly enough in the first phase. But then the second phase, you just sit on the fence and punch it as it comes towards you. The particle plant is probably the hardest stage of the game, if you don't count the last stage. And it's mostly due to a section later on where we're fighting a couple of fans. Because that section is really finicky. We damage boost to this guy here. Then we need to destroy this one. We're picking up the last piece of our bot here. This one will bring with us throughout the entire stage, but he'll take a lot of damage if we have him through here, so we'll just throw him around and he'll be back right around here. That Zangief throwing a grenade at us was not expected at all. So, in a perfect world, we have the red suit here to make quick work of these fans. But without it, they take 8 hits. And sometimes, if you time your jumps wrong, you get sucked into the fan, which then throws you away into the spikes, just like that. Time for some water physics. This part also lags quite a bit, but it's not that hard once you get hang of it. A couple of convenient damage boosts and some well-timed jumps, and you make pretty quick work of this section. So the boss coming up, Harpoon, is normally very easy if you have the right bot with us. But since we have another bot here, this is going to be a bit hard actually. Because normally you have the sword bot here, and you just use the sword and push him into a corner. But the old strat did use the grenades. So we can probably keep him stuck to the wall here. It's just a bit slower. Conveniently though, the bot in itself pushes the boss backwards. But now you see the bot is starting to flash, which means it's low on health. Yep, there he goes. But it's not really that big of a problem now. We can do the last couple of punches manually. There we go. Alright, that was really stressful, because if the boss starts to move around, if he gets out of the lock towards the wall, he gets really nasty, because as you saw, the knockback pushes him really far back and forth. But we managed to salvage that one. So time for the last stage. The last stage is very long. It's about 5 to 6 minutes long, I think. And it has 4 boss fights in it. So we're going to see a couple of bosses again that we've seen earlier. Gladly though, the music is absolutely banging in this one. Oh. Oh well, still fine. There is a healing pad coming up really soon. Alright, that hit's a bit unfortunate. It'll be fine, it'll be fine. I got a couple of unfortunate hits. I'm going to try to be a bit careful here. Go. Alright, please behave now. Alright. So here's our first refight coming up. Our friend Ball's here again. Oh. Usually he sits around on the wall there for quite a long time. But he decided to behave. He came down quickly for us. So this stage is a lot about trying to manage your bot's health and keeping your red vest for one of the later refights. But the red vest ran out there as we see, but it's fine. We get the super suit here, which will refill our bot's health and make pretty quick work of Infernon. So that's the second refight. We're going to have a third one pretty soon. And from here, we have control over gravity again, as you can see from the red background. There's another conveniently located health refill. So I'm starting to gather up beta again, because hopefully we will be able to assemble the super suit right before the last boss again. But it's sometimes a bit hard to get that strategy down, because our support bot can take a lot of damage in this refight. Because remember I said Gravitas is a bit of a run gateway, and it would be very unfortunate if you had to fight him again right before the end, right? So developers basically thought, let's put him in again. But this time we do control gravity at the start of the fight, which helps a lot. So they did a quick thing called gravity cancel. When he drops those bombs that goes upward, he's trying to force gravity to point upward. But if I do a gravity switch right as the ball lands, I can deny the gravity switch. This here is the final gauntlet, and we have to climb a really long corridor upwards to fight the final boss. And it's pretty easy to fall down here. There's a lot of small blocks, a lot of tricky jumps, and if you fall, you're going to fall far. So we assemble the super suit, and we're going up against the last boss here, General Grover. We have 12 seconds on the clock, so this should be a pretty quick fight. Sometimes you get hit during the climb and you get here with like 10 or 8 seconds. Then it can be hard to actually kill him in time. But hopefully he just does his... Alright. So he can do 3 kinds of attacks. It's the dash attack, it's a jump attack, and... Oh, that was fast. Oh well, he's dead. Time! I managed to land so many double attacks on him. I wasn't prepared for him to die that fast. I really weren't prepared, because usually he starts to jump right afterwards and it takes a few more moments. Oh well, that's Shatterhand. I'm so glad that went well. This is my first time at ESA, so I'm really glad that ESA allowed me to do this. I also want to send a quick shout out to Tarbash, the world record holder. He's helped me a lot to improve my times. Also my stream regulars, thank you very much. You helped me through grinding out this game and actually getting good at it. And I appreciate your patience with my practicing. And also a big shout out to the NES crew behind me for being so open and being so supportive here at ESA. It's been great, guys. Thank you so much. It's really been great. You have no idea how much it meant. So it's just a final moment. Agent Shatterhand looks at the explosion. He's a bit disappointed. It's been a tough war, but he's happy. It's over. Thank you very much for having me. See you around. Oh, there's the camera. See you around, everyone.